It's good to have you back on the show, Secretary Esper. 12th day into this war. How are you thinking about the timeline right now?
Yeah, hi, Sarah Michael. It's good to be back with you again. Look, this is going to drag on for many weeks, if not several months, and I think we need to be prepared for that. We've reached a point now where, as in all conflicts, it's a contest of wills, and in this case, you have the will of Vladimir Putin versus the will of President Zelensky and all the Ukrainian people. So I see this as dragging on for quite some time, and that means we need to be prepared and be doing everything we can to try and curtail the conflict. And as I know many of your viewers are interested in, I've been arguing since day one that we should employ the full panoply of economic and financial sanctions, including energy sanctions, on Russia in order to get them to back down and end this conflict.
Well, it looks like there's some movement on that front, certainly from Congress and growing opinion in the U.S. that is what should happen. Germany's not there yet. If we do go that route, energy sanctions, do you expect it to change the outcome for President Putin?
Well, it could, which is why I disagree with these graduated escalating sanctions. We should employ them all now. For the United States, I mean, Russian oil imports are 8%. The challenge, of course, is Germany, which gets 70% of its energy from Russia. But that's no reason why we shouldn't. And I'm glad to see that there's bipartisan action in Congress, in both the House and Senate, to do this. I don't understand why the Biden administration won't move forward. The fact of the matter is gas prices will go up. They have. We've breached the $4 mark today. But I do think, and polling supports this, that the American people understand this and are willing to pay more at the pump in order to help the people of Ukraine and the tragedy that they're undergoing right now.
Mr. Secretary, you said that you don't kind of agree with this sort of graduated sanction scale, holding things in reserve, perhaps. But if, in fact, the U.S. were to impose sanctions on Russian oil, what should it come along with in terms of a path out? Is it absolute in saying, full withdrawal and a return to what happened before the invasion? Or is there room within this to negotiate stages?
Well, we talked about this last week, and I contend that we should follow the lead of President Zelensky and the people of Ukraine. My view is we should go back to pre-2014, before the Russians invaded Crimea and eventually Donbass. Those are the historical borders of Ukraine, and that is the sovereignty that we should respect. But look, it's not just energy. We have a variety of other consumer goods, agriculture coming from Ukraine. It's hard to see where these supply lines stretch. I mean, we rely a good deal on titanium, for example, from Russia. So I think we need to be prepared for the long haul and what this means, because also, at the end of the day, Mike, if there is some type of agreement or not, if this just drags on, at what point do we think that American companies or the U.S. government or the EU is going to relent on sanctions? I don't see how we can unless Russia pulls out of Ukraine, consistent with what the Ukrainian people want.
I only have time for one more. I was deciding between Iran and China, but I think both of them maybe can go into one, which is, the Russian relationship with both. China's backing them. The Russians are part of this resumption of nuclear talks, which apparently is moving closer with Iran and unleashing their barrels of oil. How much support does Russia have there between the two of them? And what do you think happens with all that?
Well, they do have some support, probably more from Iran right now than China. China has been put in an awkward position. In early February, Xi Jinping stood alongside Vladimir Putin, and they extolled the virtues of their approaches to governing and how democracy is not working. And yet China finds itself in a very awkward position where its longstanding policy of no foreign intervention in other countries' affairs is being undermined by Putin's invasion of Ukraine. And so they've been non-committal, neither supporting Russia in places like the UN nor standing with us. They should stand with us, but that is the nature of the great power competition we're in today, and will last for quite some time, unfortunately.